What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, there's continual reports and continual things about Josh Giddey and this kind of situation with the Chicago Bulls, and it's all kind of the same sort of stuff. I mean, the recent reports is that there's still a bit of a standoff and Josh Giddey is threatening to accept the qualifying offer rather than the offer sheet that the Chicago Bulls gave, which at the end of the day, we've heard this before. So I'm not necessarily going to talk specifically about that new situation. I read an article, and you know me, I like reading articles, and this one was from Bleacher Reports. I don't actually think his name is in here. Oh, yes, it is. Justin Castellin. Hopefully I said his name correctly. And it's about the three scenarios, likely scenarios, that could happen with the Josh Giddey saga that's going on around the NBA and around the Chicago Bulls recently. So I want to look. I'm not necessarily going to take a look at his opinion because I think that's best for you guys to read that yourself. Go read why he thinks these things are an outcome, why these things could be likely. I'm going to look at the three options and discuss whether I believe these are likely outcomes or not. And we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. I mean, by the time this video comes out, we might have that decision. I say that all the time, but yet we're stuck in the same sort of limbo. We'll see. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know what you guys think about the three outcomes that could happen in relation to Josh Giddey. I guess with the third option, we'll talk about it now, and that is that he signs an offer sheet with another team that is not the Chicago Bulls. So I guess an example of this is the Golden State Warriors walks up and says, hey, here is $20 million for, 2 seasons instead of the 4 years we offered. So 2 years, which means he gets into unrestricted free agency a little bit earlier. Josh Giddey says, you know what? I like me a little bit of that. The Bulls don't match the offer. He goes and joins the Golden State Warriors. Or maybe a team like Brooklyn walks into the situation and says, hey, we're the only team that can really afford to sign you outside of Chicago. Here's the $30 million you're offering. The Bulls don't match it. Josh Giddey walks right into Brooklyn. He lives in Brooklyn now. So those are that's sort of the offer sheet thing that we're talking about here. And I think this has been very well known. There are teams interested, reportedly 5. We've already talked about this, with the Warriors being one of those teams interested in Josh Giddey. But unless Brooklyn walks in and offers more money than us, I find any offer sheet that anyone offers less likely to work than the Chicago Bulls. Not many teams have that much money to go and flex around with. And the Bulls right now know that. Why do you think we're playing hardball as much as we are? It's because we know we're in the driver's seat in terms of the financial flexibility of the league. We know we can offer Josh Giddey the most money. We know that there's not many teams around the league with that type of money that they can go and splash around. A lot of teams are keeping their assets close to their chests. So to me, unless it's a sign and trade sort of situation, I don't know the second option yet. So maybe that is an option, a sign and trade. I just can't see another team walking in, offering money, and Josh Giddey just goes over there. I just can't see that being a likely outcome. Unless it's Brooklyn, because Brooklyn can offer money for Josh Giddey. Money we might not want to accept. Money we might not match. So that's the first outcome that is kind of being reported about. I find that the least likely outcome. And speaking of, the second outcome is a sign and trade, and it specifically says a sign and trade to an Eastern Conference rival. I'm going to have to read this a little bit because I didn't expect it to be an Eastern Conference rival. I guess I don't think it says a team here. I just think it says an Eastern Conference rival. So I'm thinking maybe you're thinking of teams like maybe the Milwaukee Bucks, for example. I guess Brooklyn could still be an outcome there. It's just any sort of team that could build up in the Eastern Conference. This kind of matches up with the reports that suggest that out of the 5 teams, the majority of them are Eastern Conference teams. And again, that is a likely outcome for me. This is a likely outcome if the Bulls don't actually want Josh Giddey, which people have suggested could be an idea, that maybe the Bulls don't actually want Josh Giddey, but they're going through this to kind of stay face with the organization's fans. If that is the way that they view it, and maybe a sign and trade could work. But once again, a sign and trade is usually one-sided. And that is going to hurt if that's what's going to happen. A one-sided sign and trade where we get very few assets that we can actually use going forward for Josh Giddey. How many sign and trades actually are fair in value? When we got Lonzo Ball, we got rid of Satoransky and 2 second-round picks with Garrett Temple. I mean, maybe that's a bit too much. You guys can make an argument for that, I guess. But at that time, Satoransky was a guy that was on the fringe of being let go from the Chicago Bulls, being traded, and he did get traded. Garrett Temple was a vet minimum deal, 2 second-round picks. I mean, for Lonzo Ball, especially at that time, was easy money. When we got DeMar DeRozan, we let go of Thaddeus Young and a first-round pick. To be fair, Thaddeus Young played well for the Bulls when he was here. The first-round pick probably hurt, but DeMar DeRozan is definitely worth that. And again, it's not a fair trade. So at the end of the day, if we're going to do a sign and trade for Josh Giddey, I do fear, no matter where he goes, Eastern Conference rivals, Western Conference rivals, the point is, I fear that this value and this trade won't be fair, especially for a 22, potentially 20, I don't know how old he is. I think, let's just say he's 22 years old. Essentially, for a 22-year-old guard with so much potential still to make a difference in the league and had such a great end to the season, I would absolutely hate for a sign and trade to be unfair in value. So if we are going to get a sign and trade, my only hope is that the value of the situation is a fair one. And if we could do that, then okay, we have to roll with what we get. But more likely than not, we're probably going to get screwed in that sort of situation. So I hope that's not the outcome. And then the first option, we talked about the other two. I guess those two are the least likely options. The third option, and the likely option, in my opinion, is he re-signs with the Chicago Bulls. Now, it doesn't specify if it's a qualifying offer or if it's the long-term deal. The report suggesting we are offering $20 million per season. So that's Lonzo Ball sort of money. What we gave to Lonzo Ball. We offered him $20 million per season. I mean, look, I don't know what's going to happen with Josh Giddey, but I could still feel in my heart that we are the likely team that is going to be keeping him around. He might accept his qualifying offer. He's threatening to do it. He might just go ahead and do it. And if he does it, well, he's still here, but he's here for a season. He might prove himself, then he might go for more than $30 million in a few years' time, and then the Bulls are going to look back at this, and they're probably going to feel like idiots, but they're probably going to have to give him more money. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what's going to happen. Or maybe he does just give in and says, you know what? 4 years, $20 million. It's still a massive increase over the money he was getting previously. Maybe he's thinking, okay, well, look, it's still guaranteed money, guaranteed 4 years, guaranteed $20 million. Over the next 4 years, anything can happen. Injuries can take place, bad performances, bad form. Maybe he's not the player that's worth $20 million in the end. We don't know what's going to happen with Josh Giddey, so he gets his guarantee. And then he can move on with his life and get a bigger contract next time around, or maybe he doesn't get a bigger contract next time around. I don't know. There was a time where I felt like I knew. I don't know anymore. I truly can tell you I don't know. So I still feel like we are the team. We are the team that Josh Giddey's going to be in. You know, it's going to be the Chicago Bulls. I still feel confident in that fact, but whether or not it's for a long-term deal or a short-term deal is up in the air to me. I've got no clue. Let's wait and see. Hopefully we could, pull our heads out of our asses and try to find a mutual agreement for both parties. But if we don't, if we stay firm and Josh Giddey threatens to do what he's doing and then he does it, well, we got a year to figure out how can we fix this relationship first and foremost, and whether or not Josh Giddey's going to be worth more than $30 million in a year's time, which I don't know. I'm going to put my money on he probably will be, because we're giving him all the energy to prove it. So we'll wait and see. Thank you for watching, though. Those are the 3 scenarios. Go check out the article and see his opinions about certain situations. I always want to try and recommend you guys going and reading things. It is what it is. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.